Hey everybody, I'm Cantonese Cat. Hey everybody, Cantonese Cat. I'm gonna go through a couple minutes here real quick, talking about some crisis here, if you will. Not fun to talk about. Invalidation of bull market going into a bear market. Let's look at it. We are at this point where we have a 2 week chart here. Price of the Nasdaq here, and the X has broken down underneath the Tenkan here, right? On the monthly. This is the 2 week chart here has gotten to the kitchen. Price has plummeted down about 14% over the last few weeks, right? Does it mean the bear market is starting? Well, let's examine what happened over the last bear market here. Last time when we got to a very similar point over here, we actually broke down further for 6 additional weeks in a row. And after that, we had a bearish backtest, and after that, that weakness has caused this bearish cross at the Tenkan Kijun, and you had a backtest of the area, failed to hold, and just ended up plummeting down, right? Here, so far, we don't really have quite the invalidation yet, which is, again, we don't really have the quite invalidation for the bull market yet, which is kind of crazy to say because prices are already plummeted down for about 14%. But here, you can see how it requires additional 6 weeks of weakness and a bearish backtest before the bear trend is confirmed, right? Before it goes down to the cloud. And it doesn't always happen because things can break down underneath the Tenkan Kijun and it just kind of bumps right up back to it, right? You remember what happened um, during the tariff scare? You came back down to touch the cloud here and it just kind of go up, right? Here during COVID, same thing, came back down, touched the cloud, and just kind of went up. Does it mean that we have to kind of plummet all the way down to the cloud, or does it mean that we hold here? That's a very, very tough question to answer. It depends on whether or not this is just one of those Kijun red line back tests that we've had over and over again during a bull market. Sometimes we even wake down underneath of that, and you just end up having a significant bullish continuation afterwards, right? Look at a great financial crisis here. You have additional few weeks of weakness and then back test, and you fail to push through the Tenkan Kijun. That's when you have a downtrend, right? We're at a very, very completely different situation here, where now we're just getting back to the Kijun. So we'll see. I mean, I'm watching this. It's hard for me to be to confirm one way or another. I was looking at some folks talking about the bear market when it has to do with the 50-week moving average or the 30-week moving average. Let's look at 50 here. We did break down to 50. It's no fun. Does it mean that once we break down 50, we're going to end up having like a significant bear market? It depends on how this week reacts, I guess, right? But yeah, it's not favorable whenever you break down to 50. It depends on whether or not this is just turns out to be a wick or not. Because if you end up bringing down to 50, you usually might have a little bit further down to go. But again, history has shown that sometimes you break down to 50, it doesn't really mean anything, right? Because during the 2010, 2011, it did that all the time, right? So I think at this point, it's really, really tough to call that this is going to be a bear market for sure. It does look a little bit exhausted, which is why you're having this big giant downtrend to kind of work out some bearish diversions here. But I still don't know if we have confirmation for the bear market. I'm going to try to talk a little bit more about that tonight if I end up doing a live stream with Tracker, if I end up doing a live stream with Mad. We'll see. But I'm watching this. It is something of a great interest as well for the overall market. So we'll see how it plays out. There's no guarantee one way or another. But at this point, I don't necessarily believe that has to be the case. Even here, it broke down underneath the 50, back test a bearish cross of the 20 and 50 before plummeted down, right? We don't really quite have that yet. It requires a few additional weeks of weakness. And then I think this back test would be a place to sell, right? But we don't really quite have that yet. So I think at this point, I'm just going to remain patient and then see what happens. That's it. Take care. Bye.